Hi guys! I'm on the lookout for some brave, curious and silly explorers to join me on an adventure. Well, let's put it this way. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to bounce along inside a giant bubble? How about a hike in a tropical jungle? Or what goes on in a top secret superhero lair?
Watch out for flying underpants!
Is this a yes, yes, yes? I'm Connie, Chief Adventurer at Armchair Adventures, a super fun and a little bit bonkers podcast for kids aged 6 to 10. Each episode is a brand new adventure, and you're invited. What makes it super special is that I've jam-packed it full of sing and move-along fun. You can listen wherever you get your podcasts. Where will your next armchair adventure take you?
You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's stoopable for... Oh, hang on. Oh, did I just say stoopable? Oh, instead of suitable. Unbelievable. Right, let's go again, everyone. Let's go again. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from to... hey, were both those sounds farts? Who let the farting animals out? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. For all ages from... to...
Bruh.
And everything in between. I'm Jeremy Weremy. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I forgot my name again. I know I keep doing it. I'm so sorry. My name is Susan Police. No, that's not it, is it? Sorry. Sorry. I'm Tiernan, and this week we've had this message in the mailbag. Who replaced the mailbag with a bird of paradise? Where's the mailbag gone? This message in the mailbag. Who put the farting animals in the mailbag? Who did that? Come on. It smells so bad. This message is from Sandy Squirrel, who says, "Best show ever. You are one of the best shows ever made, but maybe you could make a blooper episode. Please, 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 from Australia." Oh, thanks, Sandy Squirrel, and all of Australia. And I would love to make a blooper episode, but the problem is, I'm too processional. Oh, sorry. I meant to say professional. Oops. Professional. Ah, no, sorry. That's not it. Professional. I'm too professional to make mistakes. That's right, isn't it, Linda?
Yes, that's right, Tiernan. Coffee?
No, Linda, you're not meant to be here, remember?
Apologies.
So, yes, sorry about that, Sandy Squirrel, but there'll be no blooper episode anytime soon. Who let them out again? Oh, come on! Also in the mailbag this week is this Apple Podcast review from Ruffer Guffrey, who says, "Hi, can you say I love Linda Trinidad, blah blah, nid finniwinnifinnivub, and I also love stinky stuff, aka me, and I want more stinky hippos," followed by so many fart emojis. No, sorry, Ruffer, I can't say that, because what if someone took that clip out of context and then kept playing it back so that everyone did send me loads of stinky stuff? I mean, that would just be the absolute worst. Oh, I'm sorry. I should give a nicer response, shouldn't I? It's just, yeah, you know, Ruffer knows I don't want any more stinky stuff. I mean, why would they send that? Why? I love stinky stuff, and I want more stinky hippos. No, I didn't say that. I was reading a thing. Who recorded that? Who did it? Own up. It was me. Okay, you're fired. Oh, great. And that's another delivery of stinky hippos. The 7,007th since that clip of me saying, I love stinky stuff went out. Well, I am never saying that again. I love stinky stuff. Who did that? Who did it?
Sus, it was me.
I thought I fired you.
No, that was my twin.
Get out. If you would like to review the show, then you can do that on what was my line again? You can review the show on, review play site review. Sorry. Review. You can repew the show. So repew, no, review the... I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Oh. You can review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Oh, phew. I did it. Well done, me. Oh, no, sorry. Ruined it now, haven't I? Sorry. Start again. If you want to send in anything else at all, then please ask your nearest crotchety dunghill, grown-up, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And if they want to help support this show, then they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition on Apple, Acast Plus, or the patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids page. And you might have heard at the top of the show an advert for Armchair Adventures. And that is a brilliant and bonkers podcast for kids aged 6 to 10, which I know some of you are. Some of you, obviously, 99 or even 101. But this is for those aged 6 to 10. And it features lots of adventure songs and excellent stories. So please do check it out. Okay, now it's Tim for the most important bit. Tim? Did I say Tim? Who's Tim?
Hello, I'm Tim.
Where did you come from? Get out.
No.
Time for the most important bit.
DD Mega Doo-Doo. I'm sorry.
I am pleased to say that right here with me on Radio Nonsense today, it's Kitty Cassis, a.k.a. Kitty, who only eats foods if they're extra gritty, a.k.a. Kit Cass, the official UN ambassador for all the world's green grass, and of course, as all of our listeners who are trying to get everyone to notice them know you, it's Kitty. But, of course, Kitty, you are very well known for your global tour to wrestle all the world's most famous buildings and win, for your insistence to only wear jackets made of real live animals that you ask nicely to sit on your shoulders, and most famously, for the time you caught the Loch Ness Monster on film and got it to do 15 TikToks about its favourite way to eat eggs. Kitty, it's so lovely to have you on the show. How are you?
Oh, Tiernan, how are you? I didn't think you were going to bring up the Loch Ness Monster thing because it's just a bit embarrassing. Do you know what I mean, Treasure? It's kind of like everybody knows about that and then you bring it up. Oh, let's not make a fuss about it. Let's not make a fuss.
But you see, this is how wonderful and humble you are, Kitty, because it's one of the things that is most, people rave about the fact that finally, the Loch Ness Monster was caught on film. And not only did you do that, you made it a massive TikTok star within the space of an afternoon. And I know you say that's embarrassing, but frankly, I think it's remarkable.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, listen, it wasn't my first rodeo, Tiernan. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, some of you younger listeners might remember, there was Emu who used to hang out with Rod Hull, and it was actually, we were doing TikToks long before TikTok, if you know what I'm saying,
wow.
Treasure.
Wow,
yeah.
You had, where did they, like, what did you do with them? If TikTok wasn't there, what did you do with the TikToks? Were you sort of just sending them people by post or...
Well, again, yeah, we'd have a Jiffy bag and we'd have a Betamax video cassette or a VHS, and we would just do choreography. Emu was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, could do a step touch like no other. So when I got in touch with the Loch Ness, they said, come on down, lots of people are trying it, but we're I'm the secret ingredient, and a lot of, you'll know that from a lot of my past work,
Yes, and it's what a lot of people say about you. It's obvious that you when you come into a scene or a situation, things kick off and start going amazing.
They absolutely do. I mean, ask Twitchy Pete, who, he's the butcher down on Dunashire Road. Some of you might get your bacon from there. We elevated. I mean, I'm not a social media manager. I'm not going to say that. I'm kind of old school. Do you know what I mean? If people needed a little bit of help with something, anything at all, I'm there. Kitty is there. I'm a bit of an agony aunt. That's what I am. So if people have got dilemmas, they come to me. And if it involves choreo, then so be it.
That's amazing. Can I ask, because I'm do you know what? And I am sorry to say this. I'm sorry to say that I don't know Twitchy Pete. What was his kind of thing? What was his big thing? What's been his kind of road to fame? What people liked about him?
Well, Twitchy Pete was obviously, man about town. He opened the butchers, and things kind of. I think he was quite traumatized by the amount of lamb chops that he was having to make in a day. This this was just after rationing. Things had gone a bit crazy. What I love about a lot of my anecdotes, Tiernan, is they do stretch across the decades.
That's
and
nice,
what we find is,
it's important for kids to understand history. They've got to know that there was a point in time where there was rationing, which basically, what was that? Everyone, you could have one powdered egg, you're allowed one shoe. This person over here is allowed 6 crisps. I think someone's allowed a single duck, and it was all it was because of the war or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of my ancestors were sharing a Chelsea boot. That's an ankle boot, for those of you that don't know, with the side zip and elasticated panel. And we were hopping for that bus, hopping for the horse and carriage. I mean, listen, I am a bit like your eccentric auntie who comes round and sits there on the sofa and eats all your biscuits. But I don't apologise for that, Tiernan, and I don't. And no, I don't. And, I think it's good to sort of, do you know what I say? Those stories, those old stories that your old relatives are telling, when they go, the anecdotes go and the stories go, and we've got to keep them alive.
Well,
all right.
agree.
And if I do one thing, that's what I'll do. I'll pass the stories on.
Well, I agree, Kitty. And I have to say, if biscuits aren't for eating, then what are they for?
100%. I mean, listen, a lot of parents will say 1 biscuit, 2. I mean, who's to say that rations aren't still in place?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yes. Wow. All right.
Good
here, we're
point.
dropping the truth bombs now.
That's a serious truth bomb. And do you know what? I'd never thought of it like that. But those grown-ups need to think about this.
Absolutely. I'm just going to give everybody a minute. I'm going to give everybody a minute to scoop their brains up off the floor, because we've just had one of those mind-blowing moments, haven't we?
I'm amazed.
They say that rationing is not in place, but actually, why can't we have 6 packets of crisps? It looks like rations are still in place, and that's that's something we need to change.
Well, I agree, because it starts now. Oh, you're only allowed 1 bag of crisps today. You're only allowed 1 chocolate bar. But next thing you know, it'll be, oh, you have to share 1 sock with your whole class, and take it in turns. Right. And that's, no one's going to enjoy that.
That's how these things gather speed, isn't it?
Yes,
it starts there. It starts there, and before we know it, we'll be hopping again. We didn't fight in all those wars. What is it good for? Oh, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
to be back, come back full circle again.
I agree, and I think this is a serious campaign that someone needs to start, like, to stop grown-ups rationing, and bring back. I sort of just, I don't know, anyone just endlessly eat biscuits if they want. I think I'm trying to think of a catchy title for this campaign, but scoff your face. There's something catchy. We'll come up with it.
Yeah, I think we'll workshop it. And do you know what? There'll be some bright spark out there scribbling down now and thinking, I've got a catchphrase. But why limit it to biscuits? Do you know what I mean? I think what parents would like is if we were having 6 florets of broccoli.
Yes.
That's what they won't be rationing.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't it funny? That's
true.
I think that we do need to campaign for unlimited everything, isn't it? Like they want us to get outside, get a breath of fresh air. I am regressing to my childhood self now, as it happens. You need to get outside and get some vitamin D, look at nature.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with the ceiling in my bedroom?
Well,
that's
and also,
my question.
there's problems with all these, because sure, parents won't limit broccoli, but actually, I like to think broccoli is very small trees. The problem with the world at the moment is trees are getting cut down. If we left the broccoli alone, it might absorb more pollution, and then so maybe we should stop eating broccoli. I'm just saying, it obviously take.
We have found a loophole.
Yeah.
This is a loophole, isn't it? I mean, you were asking about Twitchy Pete.
I was. I'm sorry. We got off track there.
No, listen. All roads lead back to Twitchy Pete, as it happens.
That's good for him. Yeah.
And I kind of changed his fortunes, really. Obviously, it's maybe not reached your radar. He was really struggling, and he was down in the dumps. He couldn't make the lamb chops fast enough, and he developed. But now what we've done is we've got him reinforcements. And so what we're actually doing now is we've got a production line for him, and I'm not saying it's mass produced, but listen, his Twitch has got a lot better since I got involved and helped him.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I assume you mean his Twitch, like as in his sort of facial Twitch, or so, rather than his Twitch streams where he's gaming, or is he on Twitch doing gaming videos?
Well, this is the thing.
Right.
That's why they call him Twitchy Pete.
I see. Right. I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So now he's got time for lamb chops and games.
Yes, because before he was on Discord, and we all know what that involves, don't we? Like. We do.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, we do. And he got off MySpace. Again, this is another callback.
Oh, wow.
I've still got my page up there. You know, I'm often on there with my banjo and my ukulele. Everything changed for him back then. And I like to think I'm a game changer. That's what I do. But I also do, if your mum needs a roots doing, maybe your dad needs his beard trimming, I do that. And also I'm a dab hand at verrucas.
Wow. That's impressive. Verrucas aren't dealt with properly enough. They are stubborn. They just keep coming back. And that's what I kind of admire, their persistence in a way, because don't we all wish we could be as stubborn as a verruca, but also they're verrucas, so it's not as nice.
Well, do you know what? The verruca will not take 9 for an answer. Okay. And that's why I will rule with a rod of iron, all right, and I will get quite strict with them, and that's what I've been known for. I mean, I say jack of all trades. I prefer Mary of all jobs. That's my raison d'etre.
Yes, I like that very much. That's fantastic. I mean, I have to say, Kitty, one thing that does worry me is you are so busy and doing so much stuff. Do you ever get to just chill? Do you ever get to relax?
Chill, relax. I don't see the point in it, Tiernan. Do you know what I mean? Sure. I don't see the point in it. If I'm not scrubbing the step, if I'm not actually, I'll be planting. I plant turnips every Tuesday at my local allotment.
Yeah. Is that? Can I ask? Have you got a plot there, or are you just sort of putting turnips wherever there's space?
I'll just distribute them around everybody's. Sure. Whether they asked for them or not.
Right, that's what I wondered. Yeah. Is that must cause issues when they're all, people must think, why I thought I was growing herbs here, but now I've got 15 turnips. Are they happy about that? Or
it varies.
Sure,
Listen, I don't. When I've got my customer services hat on, I will obviously deal with any unhappy clients. I mean, I say clients; they didn't ask for any of this, and that's
yes.
It's perhaps an unsolicited turnip situation.
Sure.
But I think what people do find in the end is that they didn't know they needed the turnip, but actually it found its way into their lives and made it better and enriched it, in fact.
That's lovely. I mean, and I think, again, we're sort of talking about rationing foods and things. Why can't everyone just have as many turnips as they need, or in fact want, or even don't want, I suppose?
It's a very versatile ingredient.
Yes, right.
Okay,
yeah.
what I sometimes do is get a bag of nachos, Doritos if you like, but there are other brands available. And then I grate the turnip over the top, pop that under the grill, and just a little bit of Spam. Now, I mean, this is a great ingredient as well. Spam, which is, as we all know, special ham in a tin.
Yes.
And you can just take shavings of that. This is the other thing that I do, of course. Some of you might know Delia Smith. Perhaps some of your parents might know, but I taught her everything. Do you think I get a crumb of recognition? Do I ever get shout outs? Do I ever get credited? No, but I'm not bitter. I'm not salty, because I know that they know that I know that I was there helping them.
Wow, I can't believe she doesn't credit. I mean, and also you say a crumb of recognition. That's the very least she could do. She bakes cakes. I think at least sending a crumb your way would be nice. Yeah, a slice of recognition, if anything. How rude.
I think that's a word for advice for anyone out there. If you do if you perhaps are instrumental in helping something with someone, whether that is tying up a shoelace or actually creating a multi-million-dollar company that will then be floated on to the stock exchange, creating millions of revenue that you never see, that never reaches your bank account.
Sure.
Oh, I'm getting a little bit, you say, have you got any chill, Kitty? Clearly, I have zero chill, Tiernan.
I mean,
but all I want you to know,
me, considering the circumstances, yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. A lot of people would be jumping up and down like Rumpelstiltskin right now, but not me. I'm quite, I know my place and I know my lane. And that is helping other people and not being credited for it.
That's fair. But like I said, you're a very humble person. I think, as much as it's not fun for you, the world needs people like you, and without you, who would get unnecessary turnips in their life? And I think that's a beautiful and wonderful thing.
Oh, well, do you know what? Even this, I mean, it's barely a crumb. It's probably a slight a slight hint of detritus, and that actually will feed me for months.
Oh, that's good.
It will. It will.
I'm so pleased we could give you a hint of detritus. Well, listen, Kitty, I have to say again, thank you. I appreciate you're so busy with your many things. I appreciate that you've got time to come on the show. And you said you're an agony aunt. I do have a question from a listener that I think. I believe you are the person that can answer it. But before I ask you that, I've got a couple of admin questions that I have to do for the show. How do you feel about admin?
Well, admin, it's always been in our lives in one way or another. And it's something that you really have to take a big, deep breath and put your big person pants on and tackle. Yeah, because if it gets on top of you, it used to be stuff landing through the letterbox onto me mat.
Yes.
And you'd be wading through the mat.
Yeah.
But now it's electronic and it's digital. And you've got to roll your sleeves up and get on with it. That's my take on admin. A bit like the Veruca, isn't it? Bloody persistent.
Can I just check, when you say big person pants, do you mean grown up size pants, or do you mean giant pants, as in this sort of huge load that you could wrap yourself in?
So the size of the pant is relative to the person dealing with the situation in front of them.
Okay, got it.
Okay. What I'm saying is a big, sturdy pair of pants. And if that is we can't be having any, sometimes you do put a pair of pants on and you think, well, these fit me about 3 months ago. What's gone on here?
Yeah, it's because you've had to deal with admin.
It's because you've had to deal with admin, and that's why you need to go up a size.
Yes,
okay.
I agree.
We all have to do it. Yeah.
Do you know, this is a great tip for any of the listeners as well. If you've got, homework and you think this is too much, try a bigger pair of pants, and it'll all sort of work out, I think. Always.
It's funny because do you know what, Tiernan? Sorry, we'll get round to the questions in just a second. But I think what happens is some people do listen to some of the things that I say and they shake their head and they go, She's talking broken biscuits, that woman. And then what will happen is I will get a missive. Sometimes it'll be a pigeon carrier. Sometimes it will be a facsimile. Ask your parents what a fax machine is. They were quite, in my day, that was quite instrumental. I could be your correspondent from decades past, couldn't I? But I will then get a little, in my inbox, be that virtual or actual. Kitty, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right. It was the turnip that I needed. It was the bigger pair of pants that I needed. So it might not be useful right now in this moment, but just strap in, buckle up. It will come in handy.
That's amazing. I'm sure. I'm sure that's going to be the case with everything you've said on this. I reckon you're going to get sent quite a few pigeons and/or faxes from all the aged listeners to this show. I think there'll be. I'm pretty sure there are some 8-year-olds there that are deft users of faxes. The retro faxes have got to come back. Everything comes back after a while. I'm pretty sure people will want to use a fax machine just to be cool again.
You could put a quite a robust strap onto that fax machine and just carry it over your shoulder.
Yes.
It becomes portable. Bam.
It's brilliant. Brilliant idea. Fantastic. Well, these have been brilliant. Everything you've said so far, Kitty, has been, I say, at the very least, inspirational. So I'm going to try these admin questions with you. I think the second one of these is harder than the first, but I mean, to be honest, I don't think you're going to have a problem with either of them, judging by how this conversation's gone so far. So the first question, Kitty, is quite simply, what is this?
Well, brilliant question. It's sort of the fundamental question, isn't it?
Yes.
What is this? What is this? What is this feeling?
Yes.
What is this feeling coming over me? And that could be absolute exhaustion.
Yes.
That could be like a bolt of lightning, inspiration.
Yeah. Do you think it's ever? Sometimes it's just wind, isn't it? Sometimes it's.
I mean, that I'd say 88.7% of the time it is actually flatulence.
Yes,
and that is a lesson that we can all learn. That is that's actually probably the first thing that you need to know going out into the real world. A quick what I tend to do is get down on the floor, hug my knees to my chest.
Right.
That usually solves the problem. Now, I know you can't do that in a classroom, you can't do it in a supermarket, but what you could do is actually I have done it in the tin dialed goods, in the tin goods aisle, sorry. But what is this? I'd say this is ferrets.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense now you said that, actually. And I think that's probably the answer to quite a lot of questions, actually, ferrets,
I mean, very versatile.
Very versatile.
As a rodent. And we talk about the pigeon carrier. Ferrets are underrated as message carriers.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they can sort of... They can travel through sort of drain pipes and trouser legs and I'm guessing probably toilet roll tubes. I mean, so that's already a lot of journeys covered.
But also what they don't talk about is how the pigeon carrier has got the homing skills, but the ferret has the bedside manner. And very courteous, very polite. Will always say, there's a message. How are you doing? I love that blouse with those trousers. Very complimentary. And that is underrated, I think, in our society.
Yes. Wow. And I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I asked that question, what is this? But as soon as you said ferrets, I sort of think, is it worth me ever asking anyone that question again? Because it just seems so obvious that it's nearly always, the feeling you have is nearly always wind. And what is this is nearly always ferrets, I would say.
That is a very good rule of thumb, I would say. That will get you through most meetings. When you get out into the real world, maybe you sat around a big board table, maybe there's a whiteboard up there and, figures are flying around. Always suggest ferrets.
Yes, I think
because
so.
That'll get you out of many pickles.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you'll know the facts on this better than me. But if we say that most feelings are indeed wind, most things are actually ferrets, then I would say there's also probably, when they aren't wind or ferrets, they might be ferrets with wind.
And that is where the two worlds collide, of course.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, what we're doing is we're unpacking this and we're digging a bit deeper.
It is deep,
and I mean, and there is a little bit of a sort of key to the universe vibe here, isn't there, Tiernan? You almost, again, another dated reference, but The Matrix, it is one of the scenes that ended up on the cutting room floor. And they don't talk about it enough. And that's when the ferrets actually crossed over the rubrics. And it was a whole different dimension. But when they tested it with the audiences, it was too radical.
Yeah,
at that point, it was too radical.
I've heard that. I mean, it's tried to, so many, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is meant to be a whole ferret universe, but he said it was too real and didn't quite fit in. I mean, it's it's Inside Out. There's meant to be a whole part in the kid's brain that was just filled with ferrets and ferrets farting around.
That's right.
But it's too real, too much. And, it's sort of the everyone knows it's there and it is important, but we just can't talk about it. And I find that strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to destigmatize ferrets, okay? Because you're right. It was almost like too close to the bone and sort of a little bit upsetting and distressing, I think, for a lot of the test audiences, both for The Matrix and Inside Out. I have heard that as well. As you know, I've got the inside track for ferrets.
Of course.
And this is another thing that I think is really going to come into play. Astronomy is a big thing, but ferrets is right there on the cusp.
Wow. And how long do you think before a star constellation is named after ferrets?
You see, we don't know that there isn't one already.
Yeah, you're right. I can't believe that question.
So I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, Tiernan, because I don't think this is the place all the time, or the universe.
That's fair.
It's not.
That's fair.
But I think that as the wool is lifted from our eyes, I think that we're going to discover that ferrets are actually integral.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's yeah. I don't think you could be more clear about anything, and at least our listeners are aware now, and I really appreciate you answering that question. As defiantly as you did. So thank you so much, Kitty. Listen, that question where you smashed that. We've got one more admin question, and I don't think you're going to find this too tricky. Most people would. I don't think you will. But Kitty, would you rather your home was at the top of a very high helter-skelter, or everything you touched turned to cheddar cheese?
Oh my goodness. Is this a question that gets asked every episode, or has somebody sent this in?
No, this is, every episode I have to ask a guest a would you rather question, but this is the one for you. This is just for you.
This is tailored specifically for me.
Yes, specifically for you.
Now, listen, this is absolutely bizarre.
Right.
Because you and I have never spoken before.
No.
We have never discussed this before. No. And I'm about to fall off my chair here, because sometimes, do you ever get those moments in life where you're thinking, like, is it coincidence? Is it what they call serendipity? My husband and I, Dave, you may have seen his work. He's got a shed down at the bottom of the garden. I actually brew my own beauty treatments down there.
Wow. Right.
And we have just literally in the last few days, we've got a porta cabin that we have installed on top of the Helter Skelter at Blackpool Tower.
Right. Wow.
And that's why I'm kind of like, what are the chances of you asking that question? Do you know what I mean? We talk about stars aligning. We talk about destiny. There's the sliding doors theory. Whereas if you got on that train, you'd have, if you hadn't have missed that train, it would be a different. You're in a parallel universe. Do you know what I'm talking about? And so this is one of those.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea when I crafted this question for you. I had no idea that you. I mean, you've already answered it, but you are in this situation, and I have to ask, what is it like living on top of a helter skelter? Because I assume leaving it is great fun, but having to climb up the stairs to get there is quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean, my calves are made of steel now. All right, I've got strong thighs because we've been up and down there. Now, one slight adjustment: I don't live there, Tiernan. I work in the porter cabin.
Right. Okay.
And what you find is altitude. Altitude is better for some of the concoctions that I'm making.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Some of the. So for example, when I'm dealing with my verrucas, there's a certain tincture.
Right,
that I use. Right. And a lot of that stuff. I mean, listen, a lot of people will look at me and, you can Google me, you can find an image of me and they think, she's not a scientist. Well, no, not in the conventional sense. But there is science and there is alchemy that goes on, and you need an altitude for that. And that is where the helter skelter comes in. Also, the potato sacks, the sacks that you go down.
Of course, yeah.
Now, Hessian is a vital ingredient in my work. And so that's another thing that is just in the cauldron. It's in the mix. It all folds in.
But do you have to, I guess you have to be careful because you don't want to mix it all in, because then you can't get down the slide. Like you need a sack to get down the slide in.
You always have to keep just a little bit aside.
Sure, of course.
Okay. Of course. But there is, I mean, we're working on different, there's a few prototypes at the moment. I'm under strict instructions not to be able to talk about it, but we do have, there are other materials that are being floated at the moment. And sometimes it all does come back and join in, but the skins of the turnips, when knitted together.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, if you are an avid fairground visitor, and you do go to a Helter Skelter quite a lot, look out, because you will see in the next to 2 to 4 years, you will see the Hessian mat being replaced by what can only be described as a large envelope of turnip skin.
Wow. I've never heard a more enticing phrase. That's incredible. Wow.
As you can imagine, the friction is reduced. Because that is a lot of the feedback when we're talking about Helter Skelter usage. Friction burns, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's why a lot of people won't notice, but it's why turnips go down Helter Skelter really well. It's often it's often how they test them, I believe, isn't it? They throw a turnip down, see how quickly that goes, and then goes, well, that's relative to half a child, and so we understand how this works.
That's the equation.
Yeah, it's normally...
That's the formula. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Is the dream one day then that you have almost kind of beauty parlors on top of Helter Skelters? People have to trek up the stairs. They get a bit sweaty. They might feel a bit unkempt. They get this wonderful treatment, and then they get a lovely trip home, straight down the slide.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I am, as you've said it a few times, I'm a humble working class beautician from the northwest of England. I don't have any aspirations, but what I would love one day is to build my own empire, and that will be at the top of most Helter Skelters. I've said it, and that's why, as I said to you before, that's why I was like, no way. How has this happened that a Helter Skelter question has come out? But yeah, that's what I would love, because who wouldn't love anything more than that? A spa day.
Yeah, I mean, do you know? Like I said, I had no idea, and I think it's absolutely incredible that this has come together like that. I do have to, just for the sake of admin, just check. Would you like it if everything you touch turned to cheddar cheese, or is that you're not so keen?
Now, cheddar, I can take or leave. If we were talking about a brie, we'd have a different conversation.
Fair enough.
Especially if, I mean, listen, this might be maybe the demographic for this podcast is we're not talking about quite the palate here, but if you haven't had a bit of crusty bread dipped in a bit of brie, slightly warmed under the grill, then what are you doing with your lives, kids?
I understand that. Well,
don't you?
I know.
And then you get a red grape involved, and all of a sudden something else is happening then.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Listen, well, Kitty, again, I thought you smashed that question. And bizarre coincidences aside, thank you for that fantastic answer. And
my doors are always open, and listen, my address book is always open. My diaries, I've got an old-fashioned diary. I don't do any of this Google Cal nonsense. I write my appointments in, and I can fit anyone in at any time for absolutely anything. It's an absolute pleasure, honestly.
Well, thank you so much, and I do appreciate the doors are always open, but you do have to go up 6-7 flights of stairs to get there, and then obviously you don't want to slip and fall out the doors the other side, or you'll end up going down a slide and quite fast.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to say, you do have to sign a disclaimer,
of course,
before you come in, and that is removing any legal responsibility from me or my associates.
Of course, that makes sense. Listen, Kitty, wow, you smashed those admin questions. I really appreciate that. We've got this question here that just. I'm so pleased you could come onto this show to answer this. We have had this sent in from Judtherududpud, which is I can't figure out if that's all, because it looks like it's all one name, so that might just be a first name, Judtherududpud, and perhaps there's a surname there as well, or perhaps maybe it's a bit like Madonna, and it's just sort of all one name, and that's there. I don't know. Judtherududpud.
Judtherududpud.
Yes.
Now I know a couple of them. There's Judtherududpud Mackenzie.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's... Go on, ask the question. I'll be able to identify them.
Yeah, because they didn't give any other details, so I don't know. They could be 400 years old. They could be 5 minutes old. I don't know. So if you can tell from the question, that's exciting. Judtherududpud has asked, and this is a big question, what would happen if you ate an egg full of barbecue sauce?
It absolutely is, Mackenzie.
Right, wow.
Mackenzie, what? Yeah.
Wow.
Another mind-blowing moment.
Yeah, it really is.
yeah, it really. So obviously, I have been listen, eating an egg full of barbecue sauce is it's a bit of a code, to be honest, Tiernan.
Right.
Yeah. So this is what some of my followers, I won't say followers because I feel like that's quite a modern word.
Sure.
This is this is actually one of my second cousins, dog walkers, aunties, babysitters,
Wow.
kids.
Wow. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So really close.
It's a bit of it's yeah. I mean, listen, like I say, I know everybody in my community, and my community is everywhere I go, and I go everywhere.
Right.
So as you can see,
that's a lot of people,
you know, and it's all up here. You know, like I say, I don't need a Google Cal, and I don't need a contacts app. It's all there in my big ledger. And the question is, what would happen? We know full well what would happen.
Right.
Yes. And that is that, well, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. It would be an absolute taste sensation.
Yes, I thought so. Yeah.
But there is also a very, there's a very narrow window and a margin of error, because if that white of that egg is not enough to hold the passion within, the what can only be described as the tangy, zesty pleasure liquid that lies within, then you've got all sorts of problems. But thankfully, and this is probably a good time to I wouldn't want to promote anything that I don't think that is.
You're welcome to. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's appropriate.
Sure.
Again, you may just be seeing on your supermarket shelf what we're calling it is we're calling it the we've got a few names in we're still dealing with the packaging, but we're calling it the filibuster mouth quencher.
Wow.
The filibuster mouth quencher. That is one of my favorites. There are others in the mix.
Yes.
And what I think that we're still in the testing phase.
Yes.
But the first thing that would happen, and obviously there are other powers that can come from this combination, the combination of those ingredients.
Right.
The egg white with the barbecue sauce. We talked before about putting your big pants on, didn't we?
We did. Advice to everyone. Yes, indeed. Useful
advice to everyone. Now, that would be a precaution for this stage.
Right.
And I think that you would find yourself blasting through the admin. You'd find yourself blasting through that homework.
Right.
It's a bit like, we don't like the energy drinks. Okay, there's a place for that. I guess people get older, they drink it, but it's full of sugar and it's full of nasty chemicals. This is two natural ingredients, of course, the barbecue sauce, which is
natural.
And the egg, which is obviously natural. The barbecue sauce, of course, yielded from the jojoba plant.
Yes, of course. Yes,
and what they didn't know before, but we do now, after again, our Dave's shed at the bottom of the garden is it's just a hive of activity down there, and we found that brain power. They talk about the avocado being brain power, don't they?
Yes.
But who would, and actually, what we're trying to do is get the eggs bigger, the size of an avocado, so we can have within the barbecue sauce. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, if we could fit a rib in there.
Well, because I had
amazing.
no idea it was a superfood. And I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense because, as you say, it's an egg, it's barbecue sauce, two of the most powerful natural ingredients that there are on the earth. And I suppose I should check, because this filibuster mouth quencher, which is a great name, I don't want to ever criticize your decision, Kitty, because you make wonderful decisions, but barbaqueg, would barbaqueg not have worked? Would that have...
Oh, Barbaqueg. Now,
Barbaqueg,
what we need you in the writers'
I'll happily
room.
come in and spend a day
Yeah.
workshopping ideas for this. But Barbaqueg just sort of rolls off the tongue, much like the food would. But I wanted to ask, would you? Obviously, I'm guessing we discussed it, sort of standard hen egg with barbecue sauce. Would you consider different eggs? Any sort of ostrich eggs, dinosaur eggs? What about Easter eggs filled with barbecue sauce? How far are you willing to go? Quail eggs probably not worth it, I'd have thought.
Quail egg, not worth it. Ostrich egg, it's just it's the consistency.
Yeah.
You got to remember, we've tried a lot of these. It's R&D, research and development, months and months that goes into this.
Yeah.
And we are constantly trying stuff, and obviously, a bit like when you're in, we've got the Bunsen burner, we've got the iron filings, we're in the science lab, we've got the glasses on and the white coats on, and we're documenting all of the evidence. But so Easter egg, I think for a little seasonal lift could be lovely.
Yes,
actually,
that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And also, I feel like barbecue sauce goes with everything, doesn't it?
100%. Absolutely. I mean, I will often have I'll have a barocca,
right,
with just a little and I'll just dip it in a bit of barbecue sauce. Absolutely.
Wow.
Like it's a very sophisticated taste, and not a lot of people would believe that. But honestly, and obviously you've got your standards. You've got a barbecue sauce with Rivita, which is great. I mean, I do have it on my Weetabix as well.
Of course,
yeah. That's another thing.
I mean, this is exactly the sort of reason why Delia Smith did sort of take your. I won't dwell on it, but it is why we have all these celebrity chefs that are taking so much influence from you. You are the original food influencer, and it's remarkable. Is that what an answer? And thank you, Kitty. Thank you for answering Judtherudpud Mackenzie's question.
And just a message out to Judtherudpud. You need to invoice me, treasure.
Right.
You need to invoice me, because I'm still waiting for your invoices. You're chasing payment, but I can't do that again. Go back to admin. All roads lead back to admin, don't they? So you were very helpful with those tests. Please do send me an invoice, and we'll get you paid in barbaquegs.
Wow.
As it turns out.
Well, I'm so pleased that we could use this show as a sort of outlet for your important correspondence, and I hope he responds to you by fax. That would be great. Listen, Kitty, what a pleasure, what an absolute pleasure having you here, and thank you so much again for coming on. Have you got much coming up in the next, 20, 30, 40 years?
Well, obviously world domination is there on the Post-it note stuck on the fridge. So I will be getting around to that at some point. But do you know what I like to do, Tiernan? Do you know what I like to do? I just like to chat to people.
Nice.
To be honest, I'll chat at the bus stop. I'll chat in the corner shop. I mean, yes, they do usher me out at about 6 p.m. and they say, "We are closing now, Kitty," but that's fine. I never outstay me welcome, quite. But just having a chat with people and having a smile with people, a smile, it costs nought. That's what my great auntie Enid always used to say. But she did have no teeth. So that is obviously something to bear in mind.
Wow. Well, listen, it's been wonderful chatting with you, and hopefully we'll get to see you soon.
Take care, treasure. Ta-ra!
It's going to be areas of Drist and Mizzle.
Big thank you to the amazing Kitty Cassis for that excellent chat and for helping to answer Judtherududpud's question. And also a big thank you to Aimee Cooper for helping book in Kitty. Judtherududpud, I do hope you liked your answer, but if not, then why not send in any complaints to me at Comedy Club for Kids HQ, Nonsense Late. No, sorry, that's my real address, sorry. Why not send any complaints you have inside an egg, and then someone will eat it, and I'll never have to see it. Don't forget, if you have a question that you need to have answered, or you just want to send in anything else at all, then please ask your brilliant grown-ups, crotchety dunghills, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And do also tell anyone else you know to give this show a listen if they like laughing until their bums fall off, until they wee themselves, until they do a fart that is so loud it upsets the Dalai Lama, until they fall over sideways and land on a cat. And do check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk to see where all our live shows are near you. Well, listeners, that all went very smoothly today, didn't it? It's so nice to have a quiet, normal episode. Oh, come on! It's so nice to have a quiet, normal episode. Oh, come on! So nice is to have a normaling's quiet episodes, yeah? How did you get in? Shoo! Shoo! All that's left to say is... fly... pie... bye...
You have been listening to
Comedy Club for Kids presents...
Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! It's the end.